Hey guys, this is Erin with 5 Parks Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for Run the Years Yoga Challenge. Today's class is focused on shoulder, neck, and upper back strengthening and stretching. So we'll be mixing in postures that strengthen these muscles and stretch and release them as well. And so we'll kind of be mixing those two together. Most of the class is going to be seated. So let's just take a couple of grounding, connecting breaths before we begin to move our bodies. So come to a comfortable seated position, hands resting comfortably on your body somewhere. And close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that. Take a breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Close your lips, breathe in and out through your nose. As you breathe in, fill your belly, lengthen your inhale, pause at the top. Keep your lips closed, exhale through your nose. Nice, slow, and steady. Complete the exhale by pressing all the extra air out at the very bottom. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. Let's start with one of my favorite neck stretches. I hold a lot of tension up here in the tops of my shoulders, so I love this one. Take your left hand to the top of your head. Place it gently on the top of your head. Reach your right arm off to the side and tent your fingers. And then very gently draw your left ear toward your left shoulder. You can use your hand to deepen the stretch, but of course do it slowly and gently. And this reach of the opposite arm brings the stretch further down. I just love this one. And switch sides. So bring your right hand to the top of your head, left hand out to the side, tent your fingers, and then very gently you're gonna draw your ear toward your shoulder. This side on me is a lot tighter. That may be the case for you. Very common. So just work with where you're at on both sides. I could stay here all day. But moving on. So release, come back to center. You're gonna have a very slight, I'm gonna face sideways, a slight jut of your chin forward first, and then bring your chin down toward your sternum, your chest. But bring it forward first instead of just dropping it down. This will again increase the length of the stretch down to your upper back. Back to center, and then just peek up with your chin. So you're actually stretching out the muscles in your throat, all the way down to your collarbones. And come back to center. Those are good ones. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of shoulder strengthening now. So bring your arms straight out to the side, thumbs face up toward the sky or the ceiling. Go ahead and start to rotate your thumbs down toward the earth, and maybe even a further rotation, just as far as you can, and then rotate them up. So we're just getting a little mobility here in the shoulder joint. Just a couple more times. We're gonna work the hands and the wrists as well. Okay, now bring your arms straight up. Lower your shoulders away from your ears, and you're gonna begin to make fists with your hands. And then when you open your hands, I want you to be really, really active. This is good for the joints and muscles in your hands and fingers. Really active, okay? So it's not this. You're pumping your fists, all right? So lift your arms up overhead, extend your fingers, and then close your fist. Tight, close. Open, close, okay? You're gonna just kind of burn out your forearms here, Trust me, you'll start to feel it in a second. Now start to increase the pace. Can you still stay connected to your breath? Faster. My forearms and hands are burning. I hope yours are too. Faster. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness. It doesn't look like much when you start, but shake it out. Okay, so coming back to our position with arms extended out in front, now we're gonna take a stretch. So just draw your right arm across your body, take hold of either your elbow, depending on how tight you are, or the back of your shoulder. Draw your shoulder away from your ear. Okay, switch sides. So left arm across your body, hold on to elbow or the back of your shoulder, and then draw your shoulder down away from your ear. Good. And then just stretch your hand, or take your hands, tent your fingers again behind your hips, and then just lift your chest, lift your chin. Oh, it feels so nice. And release. All right, so a little more shoulder strengthening here. We're gonna come into forearm plank. So take your forearms down onto the floor parallel to one another. You can keep your knees on the floor if that feels better in your body, or you can extend your legs straight out behind you. And then this is gonna be a pretty subtle movement, so if you need to, you can peek at me. You're just gonna slowly, and not very far, but lower your chest to the floor, and then press it up, working your shoulders. Woo, and if your knees are off the floor, you're working your core as well. If you did my core class, you'll recognize forearm plank. Just a couple more. I'm shaking because it's hard work, okay? Now, you can keep your arms in parallel position, railroad tracks, or you can make them into a triangle. You're gonna walk your feet forward and come into what is called dolphin pose in yoga. Okay, this is another good shoulder strengthener and stretch, both. Let your head be heavy so you can shake it around, no tension in your neck. All right, wherever you are, walk your feet back. Release your hands if they're together, and then lower your hips to the floor. This next posture is called Sphinx pose. So again, hands flat, fingers spread wide. Press your chest forward, shoulders down. Keep your neck nice and long so you're not throwing your head back. You want your neck open. Okay, now this variation of Sphinx to me feels good, so hopefully you'll just let it feel good in your body. So you're really, building strength here. Now let your shoulders come by your ears and then lower your chin toward your chest. And then you can rock your head side to side if you want. It's one of my favorite stretches. Clearly I have issues in my upper back because every single one of these postures feels like the best thing I could do for my body. So getting nice stretch, upper back, neck, between your shoulder blades. Okay, now from here, you're gonna come all the way down onto your belly and extend your right arm straight out to the side with your palm facing down. So if you need to peek at this one, it can be a little confusing. You're gonna take your left leg, bring it up and over as you roll toward your right arm. Stamp your foot on the floor and then relax your head on the floor. Deep, deep, deep stretch for your shoulder. Switch it out. So come back onto your belly, bring your left arm straight out to the side, palm face down, right hand comes in by your shoulder. You're gonna bring your right leg up and over. Stamp your foot to the floor, but let your head rest. Then you can just kind of roll toward that left arm. Heavenly. Come back onto your belly. Now, this is another spine strengthener, but it's a chest opener as well, and a shoulder opener. So take your hands behind your back for a chest expansion. Interlace your hands. You can keep your feet on the floor and just really focus on your upper chest and upper back. So press your fists toward your heels, lift up. Take another breath. And release. Okay, now press your way back to a child's pose. Knees wide, toes to touch, hips to heels, walk your hands forward. So this is a nice shoulder stretch, but we're gonna take this a step further to get even deeper into your shoulders and your chest. So from here, come up onto your shins so that your hips are directly aligned over your knees. This posture is called Anahatasana, or heart melting posture. So you're gonna start to walk your hands forward and to the corners of your mat, but keep your hips over your knees. So I'm gonna say that a couple times, hips over knees. Now, like the name implies, melt your heart toward your mat. You can either have forehead down or chin down if you have a healthy neck. Oh, my shoulders are so tight, so this is like a huge stretch for me. And just kind of connect to how it feels in your own body. It's different for everybody. Okay, walk it on up. And then just come to seated on your shins. If this is too much for your knees, you have any issues, just come to a comfortable seated position. We're just gonna take one more shoulder stretch from this position. So, and I'm gonna face away from you so you can see. We did this in another class as well, might be familiar. It's just the arms for cow face pose. So take your right arm up and over. You can either clasp your elbow with your hand or clasp your hands behind your back. Looking out at the beautiful Flatirons of Boulder, Colorado. Still snow on the mountains out there. It's so beautiful, beautiful summer day. Okay, we're gonna switch sides. So left arm up and over, hold on to your elbow with your hand or clasp your hands behind your back. This side's a little tighter for me. Try to keep your spine upright though don't hunch around to get the clasp. So take your elbow if you need to. And release. Give it a shake if you need to. You can do one more stretch for the wrists before we take Savasana. Come into tabletop position. These are pretty simple movements, so just kind of feel them out. So tabletop position with your hands spread wide, fingers facing forward, just rocking back and forth. Be careful, don't look at my elbows tend to hyperextend, it's kind of a problem. So I'm trying to be very mindful about keeping my elbows a little bit bent, and you do the same if you have that issue with hyperextending. All right, now switch your hands so that your fingers point backwards. It's gonna even be a deeper stretch for your forearms. We worked the forearms earlier in class, so this should be a nice stretch to complement that movement. Again, just kind of rock back and forth, feel it out. Okay, you have to be very, very gentle with this position. You're now gonna take the tops of your hands onto the floor. Fingers are gonna point toward each other. Gentle, not a lot of weight, okay? Because your wrists are pretty fragile in this position. Just rock back and forth. And if it doesn't feel good, just don't do it. I feel like it's a really nice stretch, but I have to be, very mindful that I'm not putting too much weight here. And then you can take your hands to increase the stretch and start to make little fists. I can barely even make a fist but from this position, but just feel it out, feel that stretch. Good. Wrists, good stuff. Okay, come down onto your back for Savasana. Just kind of guide you into it, and then I recommend you enjoy it if you have the time. Let your body be really heavy, feet fall open, arms rest alongside your body. Breathe in, big breath in. Let it go through your mouth. and just return to the natural rhythm of your breath. Please stay and enjoy your Savasana for as long as you have time for. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. From my heart to yours, namaste.